Happy Thursday morning. It's about 9:30 a.m. West Coast time. I'm in a funk this morning. I watched a little bit of the Jack Smith testimony this morning before the House Judiciary Committee, which is chaired by Ohio Congressman Jockstrap Jim Jordan, who refused to comply with a subpoena from the January 6th committee and got away with that. And since Donald Trump got reelected by our wonderful and wise electorate, who also found it within themselves to let Republicans retain control of the House of Representatives and the United States Senate, Jim Jordan is now the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. And the way these hearings work when it's a public hearing is each member gets 5 minutes to ask questions, which is a phenomenally stupid format for a hearing like this. And it's 100% entirely performative. The fact that we live in a country where one of Donald Trump's co-conspirators in his efforts to overturn the 2020 election is now the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee and is questioning Special Prosecutor Jack Smith, who indicted Donald Trump for his efforts to overturn the 2020 election. I don't have words for the level of absurdity of all of this. And, you know, I watched like a half an hour of it and became very aware that my level of anger was not what I would describe as ideal in that moment. And so I shut the TV off and came out here to my deck to kind of regulate a little bit and just, kind of reflect on the big picture. I mean, Donald Trump is Donald Trump. We've always known who he is and what he is. The problem, I think, in this country is that there were 77 million people who voted for him in November of 2024, knowing all of the things that we know about him. And that's a function of so many things. I think the two most important ones are the 40-year-long war that Republicans have been waging against public education in this country and right-wing media, going all the way back to Rush Limbaugh in the 80s and Fox News first coming on the air in 1996. It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day things like this hearing that's happening right now and lose sight of that bigger picture. And it's like, I'll continue to do all the things, I'll continue to vote, I'll continue to work for candidates, and I will continue to bite the bullet and vote for Democrats who aren't exactly what I want them to be. And I will try to continue to hope for the future of this country. But that's getting more and more difficult on a daily basis. I mean, there's a saying that I've heard many times over the year that the empty barrel makes the most noise. And, that describes the Republican base in this country to a T. People who are, at best, intellectually challenged, and at worst, spend their days consumed with hatred of half of this country, of more than half of this country, probably close to 2/3 of this country. And that's the America that they want to live in. And more of those people voted last time than the other side. And, the apathy and the lack of education in this country, I think, is also a huge contributor to the fact that somewhere in the neighborhood of 90 million people didn't even bother to vote in the last election. A larger number than the actual number of votes received by either candidate. The winner of that election was the no voters. That was the largest number. I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know what the options even are, frankly. Other than vote in the midterms and vote in 2028. I don't mean to sound pessimistic. I'm just feeling deeply pessimistic this morning. Watching this absolute farce. These Republican members of Congress attacking Jack Smith and defending this person, Donald Trump. When we saw it all happen on TV, the record put together by the January 6th committee and Jack Smith are utterly unimpeachable. But, one of the most challenging things for me over the last decade is adjusting to the reality of living in a United States where factual information is irrelevant. It just doesn't matter. I don't know what to do with that. And some other things have happened in the last 24 hours that have been just deeply unsettling for me and enraging. And so I'm just in a funk today. So I may not be around a whole much on this app. I've got a bunch of stuff I need to get done here at the cabin. And so I may focus on that stuff today. And just try to kind of regulate my emotions and kind of get back to a smoother, more even spot on the roller coaster ride. So, but it's always good to take a break, man. It's always good to step away and take a break. So we'll see what today brings. It's not even 10 a.m. The sun is coming up through the trees. And it's a beautiful day. And you got to find your gratitude where you can. So I despair for this country in its current state. And I despair for the people who live in this country. And I despair for the people who are on the wrong end of ICE and Customs and Border Patrol and Greg Bavino right now. And I'm going to go make some breakfast and take a couple hours and just chill out. So, I hope everybody has a good Thursday. And pay attention to your emotions, man. If you find yourself getting too angry and too worked up, get up, go outside, and move around. It's extremely necessary. It is extremely necessary. So, but I hope everybody has a good weekend. And please be safe this weekend if you're out in the streets.